Hey, I want to direct you to a website this morning, freedomworks.org, freedomworks.org. Check it out as you're listening. And on the phone with us this morning, Dave, we have Cesar Ybarra. He is the Senior Director of Legislative Affairs at FreedomWorks. And good morning, Cesar. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Great to be with you.
Yeah.
So let me see if I have this straight. Government fails, but freedom works. Is that sort of the operating mantra there?
It's honestly that simple. I mean, we know that freedom works, right? When people have the freedom to do, what they choose, what they please on any, day-to-day activity, we know that when government is not involved, when government does not prevent you to do X, Y, or Z, people are free and happier. So we are here to support a free society that can live in peace and happy without government intervention.
You say that you want to talk about what's going on the border and the state of the Hispanic vote ahead of the midterms. Give us your take on. We kind of all think it's what's going on the border is crazy right now, but what's your take?
So going into the midterms, I think the Democrats have relied on the Hispanics have been a political commodity for the Democrats for too long. And when you're starting to see what's happening at the border with just a complete disregard and abandonment of the rule of law that the Democrats have employed, for years, Hispanics have come out and this is why Donald Trump increased his share of the Latino vote by 9% in 2020, right? And this is after 4 years of being called a racist, being called, everything horrible that any person could be called. He still increased his share of the minority vote. So what does that say? It says that Hispanics have seen the lack of freedom. That just a complete disregard, complete disregard for the rule of law.
So, Cesar, when we've heard recently, in fact, I think it was as recently as yesterday, I was reading something about the concern that the Democrat Party in Central has a concern for Hispanics leaving the party. At some point, the African American community was a pawn and, as you put it, commodity for the left for a lot of years, but they were a fairly static population at 15%.
Sure.
We've got a growing Hispanic population. If people are having kids in America, chances are they're Hispanic kids. Yakima is we are at 81% of our school population. 83% of the student body is Hispanic. So it's time that they no longer be seen as just a pawn of the left, and as FreedomWorks would say, discover their own voice and their own place in the country.
Here's a great case study. You look at what happened in McAllen, Texas, with Javier Villalobos, who was just elected mayor. McAllen, Texas is a border town. It's a hot spot, with the border wars, the cartels. It's a very hot spot right now. And this guy, he campaigned on the rule of law, on safe communities, on common sense policies. This is an overwhelming Hispanic city, and a Republican was just elected. What does that tell you? Wow. It means that the Hispanic population is no longer looking at the Democrats as, our safe space. They're starting to see what the negative effects of that Democrat policies are having on their communities. That's why they're starting to turn out. You look at what's happening in Cuba. You look at what's happening in Miami with the uprising of the Cuban folks who are starting to notice just how bad socialism is for them. Right. This is why Donna Shalala lost and Maria Salazar is now the congresswoman in South Florida. Why is that? It's not because these are Republican folks. It's not because they're not looking at the Democrats as the party of the minorities. They're starting to look at the policies. And good policy, freedom leads to great outcomes. And I think you're going to start to see more Hispanics move over to the Republican side. And, it's all based on policy. It's because the Democrats want to defund the police. They want open borders. They have a complete disregard for the rule of law. That's why you're going to start to see minorities move over to the Republican Party.
Cesar,
go ahead.
I just say, Cesar, I think you're right. I mean, if you strip away party titles and party affiliations and just say, hey, what does work for America? and
right.
and let it fall under some other name. It's the policies that matter. It's the policies, not
And absolutely, and people and the Democrats always keep thinking, right? They always cater to the Hispanic vote on immigration. If you were to go and talk to the average Hispanic, person out there, they have 10,000 other things going on, and immigration is not one of them, right? They want to have job opportunities. They're anti-lockdown. They want to have the freedom to work. Look at what's happening in New York. Mayor Bill de Blasio just said if you want to go to a restaurant, if you want to work at a restaurant, if you want to work at a gym, you need to be vaccinated. Guess what? Only 40% of Hispanics in New York City are vaccinated. How are those who are unvaccinated going to feel when they get told you can't come into work unless you get the vaccine? That's the freedom we're talking about, right? And when they start to realize what the Democrats are for as far as government mandate works, they're going to realize, maybe freedom does work, and that those are the things that are starting to resonate with the Hispanic community. And honestly, here at Freedom Works, we see it as an opportunity to actually deliver our message to maybe a community that the Republican Party has not been really good at talking to. And, so actually we thank the Democrats for their complete disregard for the rule of law because
Yeah.
this is going to be a great opportunity for us to, one, win the popular vote. Two, you have to remember, Democrats rely on 70% of the Hispanic vote. They rely on 90% of the black vote to win the popular vote. If we make a dent there, we can make great things happen for America. So we're very excited.
Yeah, no doubt. Cesar, reaction from the Hispanic community to what you're saying. On the whole, do they agree with you that they're leaning that way, or do some people just think you're crazy?
They can think I'm crazy. I don't care. The numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Again, How did Donald Trump, right, the most anti-Hispanic person in America, increase his share of the Latino vote by 9%? How does that happen? It's not because of what he said. It's because of the policies that he implemented.
Yep.
Safe communities. It's less taxes. It's less regulations. It's more opportunities. Those are the things that resonate, right? So you can call me crazy, but the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And when we take back the majority next Congress, or in the next election cycle, you're going to see a higher percentage of the Latino vote go for the Republicans. Period. Look, this is why the New York Times and all the liberal, left-wing media keep writing about how the Democrats are freaking out over the Latino vote. So they're going to pour billions of dollars into that project. But again, they're going to say Republicans are racist. Republicans are racist. That message is not resonating anymore. We're not looking at race. We're looking at policies.
Oh.
What helps Hispanics' bottom line? And frankly, Hispanics, blacks, Asians, white, whatever. We're all humans. We're all, workers. We're all, we all live here in America, and we all get affected by the policies, no matter your race. So the whole race war that the Democrats keep trying to employ is not going to work going into the midterms.
Right. We're talking human condition,
totally agree.
not ethnic condition. So what is it that Freedom Works can do, and what people who want to support you, what can they do?
FreedomWorks.org. Our job here is to build, mobilize, and educate our grassroots activists. We teach them about policy. We teach them the best and most effective way to contact their legislators. And we're actually increasing our Hispanic outreach because we want the Republican Party, we want Democrats to hear from communities like the Hispanics with conservative messaging. It's usually immigration, but we want these legislators to hear from Hispanics that they care about economic policy and economic freedom as well. So that's what we try to do. We try to bring them into D.C., educate them, and then send them to go talk to their members of Congress to make sure that they vote the right way, that they introduce the right pieces of legislation, and honestly, to decrease the role of the federal government in our lives. It's that simple, and we're very excited about this opportunity. And we just opened up our fifth floor here in Washington D.C. It's our Washington Grassroots Center. We're going to be having fly-ins, bringing in hundreds of people every week to come and lobby their members of Congress. So, and this is going to be Hispanic people. This is going to be all races. It's going to be very exciting. Youth, seniors the work. So, stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. We're going to be doing amazing things going into the midterms, and we're very excited.
I can say it does sound pretty exciting. Hey, if you decide to fly in a bunch of people from Texas, you got to watch out that some of them won't dash to Portugal on vacation. That's the way.
But at least they're zooming in, right?
Yeah.
At least they're zooming into their caucus calls. This is insane, right? The hypocrisy by the left is you can't make it up, right? The science, everything. It's all twisted backwards. So
totally.
Cesar, I'm an optimist. I like to say good because only good things can come out of the left's hypocrisy.
Tell you what,
That's right.
And we appreciate your positive nature, Cesar.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for some time this morning. If people want to find out more, then go to the website. Do you guys accept donations for your work and that sort of thing? It's all there.
It's all there. Yep, it's just like any other website. So we have great content there. Follow us on Facebook. Share our content. We have a pretty humorous social media presence. So if you want to own the libs, make sure you share our content.